Now then, what's happening? Hope you had a good Christmas, and that was probably the present we all wanted last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. Are you big on Christmas? Do you get any links to Americas?
No, I didn't actually know. I didn't get any socks, didn't get any links this year.
I didn't even know. I didn't even say it correctly. That's how goosed I am. I was like, links Africa, innit?
Yeah. Did you say links Americas?
Yeah, I said links Americas.
I wonder if they sell them in Africa.
That's probably miles off it. No, but I think it's boxers, socks, some links, and you're good to go. But no, I thought yesterday was a pleasant surprise. I thought we caught Villa on a bad day, and maybe we made them look bad. I think we definitely did in the second half. For the second half, the setup, they just couldn't deal with it, and they have been getting away with a few things because they do play a very high risk kind of football anyway, Villa, and we definitely capitalised on that. We did squeeze them. They really didn't play out very well. They were sloppy. And I thought we played with a decent amount of energy at times. It wasn't.
We knew that the high line would be something to watch out for with them. They actually caught us offside 9 times yesterday.
We know that's their kind of forte. I think they've.
That's a ridiculously high amount of times to be caught.
I was worried about that. Didn't we said because Rashford usually he's not the greatest when it comes to offsides and timing his runs quite often, especially with someone as quick as him that doesn't really need to run it tight.
Do you know what? I saw some people moaning about him throwing his hands up in the air and that yesterday, but do you know, if you watch how many times he makes a run and shows for a ball over the top, and you see players look at him and then pass it inside, and he's like, fuck's sake.
Throw the hands in the air. And that's what's annoying because I've always had that as a footballer. Someone that making a run, obviously you burst and it's a little bit of energy and you go offside and you got to come back. And when you've made that kind of run and it's not played, some people have the kind of the mental ability to go again and do it again and do it again, and you might get one and then they score and they make the difference. Whereas a lot of people, like myself, you make a run, they don't play it, and you're like, "Fuck that! I'm not making that run again."
Ever.
Do you know what I mean? And just kind of toss it off. But to be fair to Rashford, he didn't do that, and we thought it'd be relatively important, and we've pace in the front line.
I was worried about the midfield though, because I think the strength of Villa this season has been how good their midfield has been, sort of dominating games, and partially because of how we played, and I think partially because of the shape that we took up, which is very much a midfield three yesterday, rather than Bruno just being off and next to the striker. I thought we stopped them playing.
Yeah, we definitely did. Do you think Noah McTominay made a difference?
You know my thoughts on that. Is it a coincidence that we play some of our best actual football?
Yes.
When you get Christian Eriksen back in the team,
that's exactly it. I didn't want to slate him too much, but the midfield and the way that United operated was much more balanced in the midfield than to be fair, when I looked at him from face value, I thought there's not really a defensive kind of deep player in the midfield three of Mainoo, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, but what there is footballing ability and a bit of ball retention in that, especially with Mainoo and Eriksen together. And we saw like nice little bits of play.
But also Varane and Evans behind him. Like, you've got 4 players there that can play football.
Yeah, of course. I was going to say Delo as well, but Delo was one. I don't want to be too negative, but Delo was quite frustrating yesterday. I feel like he just had one of those games where his brain was far. I said it yesterday. I feel like his brain was firing all game.
There was a few people's decision making. I didn't think Garnacho's decision making, even though he went and scored. I thought his decision making at times could have been better. Rashford's could have been better. Bruno's could have been better. And Delo was in the sort of not making great decisions sort of thingy as well. But yeah, I thought the strength of the performance came in that little quartet. I think Varane, Evans, Mainoo, Eriksen. I think with that as a bit, we were talking upstairs, weren't we, before? Mainoo's forcing his way to be first choice.
100%. He offers something that a lot of the other midfielders don't, but then I thought that anyway when it comes to his actual footballing ability. But the more and more I watch him play, the more well-rounded he actually looks. I feel like he's almost a complete midfielder in a way. And what surprised me is yesterday he actually played like an experienced seasoned professional.
But he has every game that he's played.
But it was stuff like, it was like intangible stuff where every time the ball was breaking, he's very good in the air. I didn't realise he was that good in the air as well.
For the size of him, because he ain't big.
I think he's bigger than he looks. He's one of those players. I think he's bigger than he looks.
Like Luke Shaw, where you go 6 foot, you go, get the fuck out of here.
Because I've actually seen Mainoo. I saw Mainoo in yours, but he's I think he's around 6 foot. He's bigger than
he's not scrawny.
He's not small.
So he looks like he might, as he matures, he might get a bit more power about him.
Yeah, I'd say he's like 5'11".
If he gets powerful, that could he could have that sort of Edgar Davids kind of bulldog sort of thing going on.
But he times his jumps well, because he won I think he won 5 of his 6 aerial duels yesterday, and every single game he seems to have a little bit of a knack for being in the right place at the right time for loose balls as well. He's a very, very tidy footballer. He has this little thing where he loves to pump up the crowd as well when he comes.
Yeah, mate, he's a fan.
He's a proper.
He has been the brightest spark of this season for me. The one bit, like, if you said, right, okay, this last 6 months as a Manchester United fan, what have we got to look forward to? What actually have you been like, Kobe Mainoo? And it's only been like 6-7 weeks.
And obviously, it's the way he's been so good that he made a mistake for Kudus' goal last game, and everyone was like, "That's fine." Like what we've seen with the kid, we appreciate his bravery, the courage he's showing to get on the ball, and if he makes a mistake,
it's his first time passing, mate. I'm so impressed with the body shape, his openness to receive the ball, and it's just those little titivating movements, left or right, to get himself in the right space, to give himself enough time. Have you ever seen a teenager so composed on the ball? The guy literally walks around the gaff.
He actually does, and he's got that knack as well, where just as you think he's about to lose it, and just as you think that you've got him, you don't. He either skips away or he passes it round you. He's very, very tidy. I think he's might already be approaching that kind of first choice midfielder status.
He sort of came. He got a cameo, didn't he? Was it off the bench? Was it in the league last year? He got like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and everyone was like, "Oh, it was a bit of a shock," because he was 17, I think, at the time.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a shock. He'd been on the bench loads, but he actually came off the bench, didn't he? Everyone was kind of a little bit surprised at it. A lot of people, myself included, probably thought that Zidane Iqbal was ahead of him, similar kind of position. But thought maybe Zidane was a touch ahead of him after what we'd seen on pre-season. Clearly the manager had been seeing other things in training. And then we go on pre-season tour and he's doing this. Like what he's doing now, he was doing it on pre-season tour. We all got excited and then he got injured. And then it went to absolute rat shit. And now he's coming back and, no coincidence, we actually look like we know how to play football again. Yeah, we've just lacked that all season.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are saying in the comments that he's 5'9". I've seen him. He definitely isn't 5'9".
No, I don't think he's 5'9".
He's taller
I would
than
say
that.
5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, he's definitely taller than that. But I think there's obviously people are talking about you have to kind of ease him in. You don't want to put too much pressure on him as an 18-year-old. But if you've got no one better currently in a team that needs something to kind of galvanise it anyway, I think you've got to play him.
Yeah, and we've got a super chat there from V33. Thank you very much. Says, does credit go to Ten Hag for blooding the youth in? It should.
Yeah, it definitely should. There's been a couple of games where he's not played him or he's taken him off early, and people have complained about it because he's this young, exciting player. But then again, I think as a manager, he's probably a little bit wary about burnout. He's probably not used to playing games of that intensity that often. And you do have to kind of ease him into it to an extent, because especially in the way football is now, where you got 2-3 games a week. I'm not necessarily as good as he is. And we're saying that we arguing for him being first choice. Can you really justify playing him 90 minutes, like Monday, Wednesday, and then a Saturday? Right now, I think
you kind of can, because again, there's
that's
not
what the blood in the youth and kind of thing.
But
is.
when you go. Obviously Mainoo's finding himself starting regularly. We got Willie Campbell starting at the weekend. We've got Garnacho starting regular games. Gore has just started finding his way off the bench. You might see Hannibal, you might not. But
serious trim from Dan Gore yesterday, by the way.
there's more and more academy players starting to feature, and I would argue that over the last decade, this isn't the strongest crop we've ever had. I would argue the one that was Gomez and Fosu Mensah and Gribbin and Cal Whelan. I think in terms of what they did and how they played coming out of the academy, that was a far stronger, more exciting academy sort of crop. But if you don't get games, you don't improve. And I think that the timing is right for for half of these lot.
100%. And I'll give David Pritt credit actually. David Pritt about 3 years ago, when there was a little bit of Garnacho hype and some other youngsters, he was raving about Kobe Mainoo back then. Even when Garnacho broke through, David Pritt was like, Mainoo's better, you'll see Mainoo's better. And I think we've seen it. I think there was a lot of people, there's some people that do follow United's youth football quite closely, and they've always been quite excited about Kobe Mainoo. And you've also got the likes of Jack Fletcher, Fitzgerald.
Jack Fletcher's the one.
There's a lot of excitement brewing about a lot of the youngsters coming through the academy, Karen, because we are notably known for being like producers of talent through the academy system. I don't know if it's kind of waned a little bit in the last 10 years or so. Maybe not too much. We still produce one or two, but it looks like Carrington and the youth system looks to be getting back to one of its stronger points.
Got a super chat here from Omar. It says, just wanted to send a big super chat. That is a big super chat. Thank you very much. To show my support for Steve Ronaldo. Appreciate commitment to facts, logic, and scroll it back up for us. And support for the club. Here's to a new year, gents. Thank you very much, my mate.
$50. What a man.
Someone there, I can't see it, but there it is. Jeffrey says, what was Pogba like at Kobe's age? Pogba was class. He was a shade under world class at 18. You know, he went over to Juventus, won the league, and he was playing. Was it Pirlo and Marquisio that was behind him, or it might have been Pirlo and Vidal? So he went in. He became the third or fourth choice in. He was a great sort of midfield.
He was definitely a youth star where everyone expected big things of him, but he wasn't. Ravel Morrison rated higher than him.
See, yeah, I think there's a lot of what might have been with Ravel Morrison.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the academy back then, and I keep saying this all the time. Yes, Pogba was hyped, and yes, Pogba was good. Yes, Ravel Morrison was hyped, and I think Rio and Sir Alex Ferguson go, one of the most naturally gifted players I've ever seen. Okay, cool. He didn't win Player of the Year, though. Another midfielder that wasn't Pogba, that wasn't Lingard, that wasn't Morrison, won Player of the Year, and that was Ryan Suthercliffe.
What happened to him?
He played for Fulham. I think Rene took him to Fulham.
Yeah.
And then I think he dropped down the leagues a little bit. But it was, let's be honest here, consistency over the season, not just like TikTok highlights. Ryan Suthercliffe was Player of the Year, and no one thought that was weird at the time. Like, he was worth that.
It's actually mad though, because at that level, it doesn't always matter about who's the more consistent performer. Sometimes it does happen to who's got the most potential, or who's got the highest ceiling. Because you've got a lot of...
And it's luck, man. It's so much luck. If you've got an injured first teamer that's in and out of the team and can't get fit, or like, look at, these aren't academy players, but it's a great example. We signed the twins, Rafael and Fabio, because we wanted Fabio, and Rafael just kind of came with him. Mm-hmm. But we put all our eggs into, we think Fabio's the player. Well, Fabio had a bulletproof Patrice Evra in front of him, and Rafael had a near retirement Gary Neville in front of him. So which one went and played 100 games for United? It was Rafael, because the position and the timing was right for him.
I thought Rafael was better though.
Well, he probably got...
They were very similar.
It's that he got to develop more because he actually played first team football. Whereas Fabio wasn't playing first team football because Paddy Evra's not even taking a minute off, is he?
Because it is true, but Rafael scored one of the best goals I've ever seen from a United player. Remember was it QPR? That QPR, was it a half volley? Or a volley edge of the box? He fucking nailed that.
Alex Bay there with a chat says, does anyone have a little worry that Jim Radcliffe might have too much involvement with the D2D, or the day-to-day, with the squad overmining Ten Hag? I don't think so. No, I don't. I mean, has he done that at Nice?
McTominay has all the qualities of a United player,
apart from
playing ability.
But the thing is, like, so the super chat there from Edgar. Yeah, you're right. I think that's one of the reasons why we've seen him in the mix. Because he's got good attitude and like he's a professional. Like, I mean, was it 13 minutes? It might not have been 13 minutes because that's outrageous, but it might have been. Was it 13 minutes, 5Ks he's doing? Yeah,
he's an absolute machine.
That's a meaty time.
I don't see that when I watch McTominay play. When McTominay plays a 90, his recovery runs after around 60 minutes, so like he's running in treacle. So I don't know. I think 5Ks might not be directly relatable to 90-minute football, because the stamina he does show in his 5Ks, I used to hear about him. I don't really see it when he's actually playing games. And as for the McTominay thing, I'll actually ask you what I asked Jay yesterday. Do you think his inclusion in the last few games was because it's a manager feeling the pressure? We aren't scoring goals. He's come on a couple games and been a little bit of a box threat, and it reeks a little bit of like, was it a bit desperate in a way of?
Yes.
He might.
But there's a but here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a yes but, and I would say yes. But the bigger issue, Eriksen wasn't fit. Casemiro's not fit.
Mount.
Amrabat, I mean, he arrived not fit, hasn't had a pre-season, and hasn't actually impressed all that much since he's been here. Maybe take him out of the firing line and get him fit. You might see a difference. I still think there's a player in Amrabat, Mason Mount not being fit. Literally, you're looking at, we're already playing Mainoo, who has probably come in a touch too early, but it is what it is. McTominay's the only one to go alongside him. I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't like revert the shape a little bit and ask Bruno to play deeper maybe, and just played with two players that was so high up that we had no control in the middle. Super chat there says, let's not forget Patrice Evra versus Bayern. I lost my voice at that one. Magic Glove says we have the Dagestan brothers. One of them beat Liverpool twice in one day. I was going to do a video on them, but I think Sam at United Peoples has already kind of done it. So Mokayev, my mate, and Brendan. Brendan told me about because I think there's three brothers. It might be two at United and one at City. Two at United or one at United, one at City. I can't quite remember. I think it's one at United, one at City. But the other one is an undefeated MMA fighter as well, and they train at GB Top Team in Ashton. So there's three brothers, and I think they all do some sort of martial arts, and they all kind of play football. I think one's at City, one's at United, or it might be two of them are at United now. It's a talented family, fair play.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking that's actually a little bit crazy though, doing football at that kind of level, but also doing a combat sport at a pretty high level.
I don't think the one that's undefeated is doing football. I think
because I was gonna say kind of.
But I bet they're not far off it. I bet they all spar together, and I bet the ones who play football don't look lost against him. Do you know what I mean? I bet it looks relatively competitive.
They're just built different.
I think that family might be built different. Yeah, I think that might be the real one. Gallic Bradman with a super chat says, "Hey guys, will you or one of the lads do a video with Maguire talking about the SEC listing doc for this takeover? Would be stoked to watch that. Some more clarity would be welcome." I think, for me on my channel at least anyway, we're waiting for a little bit more information to come out to understand it, because at the minute, there's a lot going on. I was reading something out to Ronaldo this morning where it was like that there's a $33 share price sort of agreed that if Jim Radcliffe buys the Glazers out in 18 months. So I speculated on this a couple of days ago and I didn't know, but I saw it and someone was giving me shit in it saying, oh yeah, they've got this thing to buy the club, have they? But surely that was the case all along, and maybe we was correct in that assumption that there is a mechanism for Jim Radcliffe to become the full owner. The fact that it's going to be within 18 months, potentially, it's quite surprising actually, because that's fucking very soon. It's been nearly 18 months since they said they were for sale. So that'll be here in no time at all. So actually maybe now it makes more sense why you might be seeing Jim Radcliffe investing money over the top of what he's just paid for the club while them lot are doing fuck all. It makes a bit more sense now. But again, the full information isn't out there about this. So I'm waiting. I'll get the full information and then we'll do a bit of a dive.
And we'll try to ask the right people as well.
Just scroll that one up for me, please. Thank you. Yeah. V33 says, hoping Radcliffe fixes operations and give Ten Hag time and support like Arteta was given to bring through the youth, and I'm sure a title in 2-3 years. Maybe not 2-3 years, but hopefully we start seeing a competitive team.
One of the first things we've said it. One of the first things Arteta did was get rid of the bad eggs in terms of Aubameyang, who was banging goals in, Lacazette, who was apparently, I've seen clips of him he would fighting youngsters in training and shit. That just kind of bad energy sappers, as my old coaches used to call them. But because it only takes one, and it can massively affect a team. So I think they've kind of built a bit of a youthfulness. You've got obviously they have one of the youngest squads in the league.
I think when you have I think one of the sort of like negative feedback loops that you get into when you are a team that goes through new manager after new manager after new manager after new manager, I think you have to almost go to young players, because imagine you're a manager, a player that's been at a club 8-9 years, and like there's no one at United that's done that now. You're looking at who came through. Luke Shaw, probably one of the elder statesmen of the club now. How many managers he had at United? Plus,
loads.
What he had at Southampton as well. How many systems has he got in his head? How many instructions has he got in his head?
I think Luke Shaw's a perfect person for that, because I'm not sure how much he actually retains.
But like, if you were someone that was like very guided by what everyone was saying, then you're gonna have so many different ways of playing, and maybe a clean slate. Like a manager going, this is how I want you to play, and it's the only system you've ever been taught. Like Mainoo now, like, here's what I want you to do. You can get a great response out of that player because he's not got 9 other managers in his head saying, actually, I want you to get forward here. Or like, I just think sometimes a clean slate is a really good idea.
Nah, it is true, but I think football's just become a lot more like that though. It's become more chess-like, where players are more chess pieces rather than their actual individual ability. Because I think, but to be fair, saying that, players that are quality, class, and have the ability anyway, they should be able to adapt to whatever system or tactical information they're given from different managers. But you do see it affect some players, like a lot either way, where you got one player who's quite poor underneath a manager, the manager doesn't really like him, he doesn't fit what he wants from him in that role, and then a new manager comes in and all of a sudden they become good again. You see it all the time, and that's why football, short of a career is, especially as a young age, it just all, like, stuff like that matters so much. What's the system they play in? Does the team suit you as a player? Does the manager suit you? If you're a winger, does a left back behind you kind of suit the way you play?
Yeah, or
it's all sorts.
Because things happen so fast in the Premier League.
Yeah,
it was funny. So I was sort of explaining to my dad a little bit yesterday, because so my view in the Stretford end is a real fucking treat as a tactician. Sort of like it's a real tactical view. You get to see the pitch end on, and you get to see the shapes everyone's making. And my dad was whinging at the movements of some of the wingers, and I said, actually, it's really interesting because it's something that I try and do. We don't like players, because I'm whinging at him all the time for it. I don't like players in the same channel. Like, if we have a fullback in the inside space, then my winger's in the wide in the wing. If my winger comes inside, then my fullback goes out, and it's only one in each of those channels. And watching United from above yesterday, we were seeing United were doing that, and it was like, I think Eriksen came out to the wing, and Marcus moved into the half space, and the fullback was still, Delo was still sort of central at the time. And I said, they're spreading. I said, it's a waste of time. If they go and stand next to each other over in the corner, it's a fucking waste of time, because you can just leave them to it. Because
just angles, isn't it? Just all about angles to receive. Steve does have really good seats though, because when you just go to the game, in terms you can literally see it's bird's eye. Yeah, almost like fantasy, almost like Football Manager.
See all the players in. Yeah, it's like a footy manager room, so it's great for it. And you get to see. We were talking about Rashford's runs, the constant making of the runs. Where you see it without moving your head, so it is good for that. We've got a right load of super chats, so let me try and get through some of these. Omar says, I want to stress on Amrabat, his current season evaluation has been a bit unfair due to how he came in, how he was initially used, and his injury and misfortune. Looking at his performances at Chelsea, there's a player there. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
And also, there's also a little bit of the way United are now. It's not exactly a perfect place for players to come in and be their best. Yeah, I think it is when a team's so dysfunctional. Even if he's not at the level, like it's gonna be amplified by the fact that there is dysfunction in the team, and
but everything's amplified. Yeah. Like if you go into an Arsenal team, your good performances get amplified into a great performance because everyone else looks like they're flying as well.
Yeah.
Anurag says, thoughts on title: City for a 4-peat, which is something we never actually did, or Liverpool for their 20th. I'm going to say...
I know I'd rather.
Wait, let's come back after this little advert and we'll talk about it then. Step into next year, 2024, with confidence thanks to Manscaped, where resolutions are met and hairs are neatly kept. As the new year approaches, why not make the self-improvement a breeze by keeping your body well groomed? Introducing Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0. That's where we're at, 5.0. Ultra, the ultimate all-inclusive kit designed to help you feel clean-cut and confident as you should. The 5th generation lawnmower features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads and a standard one for taking a little bit off the top, and a new foil blade for the go smooth wherever your heart desires. Did I mention that it's waterproof as well? Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts, and that's the boxers and the toiletry bag. It's the boxers 2.0 and the toiletry bag 2.0 as well. It's time to upgrade your grooming game. Resolutions may come and go, but a well-groomed you is here to stay with Manscaped's latest and greatest. The Performance Package 5.0 is here, and it has got futuristic tendencies. Included in the bundle is the brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer, and the essential aftercare products like the Crop Soother, the Ball Aftershave Lotion, the Crop Preserver, and the Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, as well as 2 free gifts, and that's the boxers and the toiletry bag. It's the boxers 2.0 and the toiletry bag 2.0 as well. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code XG20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code XG20. Happy New Year to your balls. Right then, make sure to check out Manscaped at the link in the description. Now, back on Anurag's question, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Given a straight shootout between those two, I'll go City.
I'm saying I'd rather a City 4-peat than Liverpool 20th.
But I'd rather Villa won it out of everybody. If it ain't going to be us, and let's be honest, it ain't going to be us.
Hey, I was happy to smash Villa yesterday, but I'm still.
If they won it, the fucking fun I would have with Arsenal fans.
I'm still a part Villa fan at this moment in time. I was a part Tottenham fan earlier in the season as well, hoping that but that wasn't very wise. You can't fucking rely on Tottenham to do jack shit, and they just had they fell off even quicker than we expected. They bottled it even before they could really bottle it. But now we're relying on Villa because the other 3 options is fucking Arsenal, City, or Liverpool. It's just lose, really.
JT Stillwell with a super chat, thank you mate, says, why don't we ever make smart signings in January? All the top clubs like City sign young South American talent cheap while we wait for them to command 60-70 million. Now,
we go through this all the time, innit?
Yeah, Laurie Whitwell's article last week kind of laid out the whys, and I'm hoping the likes of Patrick Stewart, Jean-Claude Blanc, all of the new people, and maybe there is a Paul Mitchell, maybe there's a Dan Ashworth in the mix. Hopefully, like that little Avengers that we can assemble will come in and actually have a tangible impact, because you saw United went, we think Anthony's worth, was it 25 mil?
Yeah.
Here's 90. We think Mason Mount's worth, what did they say, 30?
Yeah.
Here's 65. We think Rasmus Højlund's worth 40, did they say?
Yeah.
Is 85. I swear to God, that is the worst fucking negotiations I have ever fucking heard in my life.
It's desperation, though. Because United have been so poor for so long, we've been so bad in the transfer window, they're on the back foot in any negotiation that they go into. Yeah, and because there's this desperation for United to kind of almost fast track the rebuild and to improve the team, clubs know that they can charge a premium, knowing that United are going to have to pay it, otherwise they're going to leave empty-handed. The team won't improve, the fans will be fuming, the media will be talking about it. So I don't know how quickly that will be able to change unless United are really, really savvy with getting the likes of Federico Redondo. But even players like that, they're not like completely unknown. Like people like Federico Redondo and like the CDM, the Brazilian Declan Rice that PSG signed, I think it was Moscardo. These are known as like 17-year-old, 18-year-old budding wonder kid talents that are in that play for Santos and Fluminense, etc. So they're not exactly unknowns. They'll be cheaper than they will be if you buy them from someone in Europe, but they're still not going to be expensive.
Because that's when we get our arse handed to us. But we go trying people in the Premier League.
But didn't United and Fergie always do that in the early days? Is buy the better players from the lower down the leagues. But it's hard enough. I
don't know if the TV money in the Premier League now means that you go to, like, you might have been able to financially bully an Everton or at Spurs back in the day. But can you financially, like, I think Brighton have just gone, fucking 100 mil, mate. And people go, fuck, all right. So there's no bargain in the Premier League now. It's a great place to buy from because you kind of know that it's proven within the league, which is one of the most difficult things to ascertain when you're looking at signing a player. But fuck, you know. I mean, for me, the one that totally got away was Ruben Neves. That was such a United player in waiting. He was here so fucking long. Did we ever even have a conversation with him? How did no one look at him and not go, get him in a United shirt now?
How long do you reckon before he's back in the Premier League? I think he's enjoying Saudi Arabia, but I don't...
When's the window open?
I literally think they treat it like real estate people treat Dubai. You know, when you go to Dubai for like a quick cash, work there for about a year and a half, come back. I think that's why a lot of players... So if someone's like Ruben Neves has definitely gone there thinking, in a couple of years, I would have made all this dough. And I'm just going to come back.
Tax-free as well.
Tax-free.
So that's a couple of... Like, one season out there might be like 3 seasons in a Prem.
Yeah.
For the money you would have got to go, plus the fact it's tax-free. Yeah, maybe. But has he played at a sufficient high standard to be able to come back and have an impact in the Prem?
Nah, quality's permanent. I've always told you that. We've seen it with Mason and Gaddafi. It's like... And even with people that have come back from long-term injuries, I think quality level in terms of ability doesn't go. It's just maybe a little bit of sharpness. But even that doesn't take too long to come back. We're talking about someone that played in the Premier League for quite a while.
A long old time.
And I don't think his game's kind of predicated on a lot of pace and that. It's all to do with his technical ability.
We'll see how crooked it is anyway, won't we? 'Cause if Newcastle sign him on a loan in January, that's on top as...
Hasn't the rule come in?
What?
Where... because everyone was kind of panicking about the whole... Are Ruben Neves going to be able to loan... Are Newcastle going to be able to loan Ruben Neves to get through this kind of loophole because of Saudi Arabia and their ownership of Newcastle, etc. And then the Premier League put this like a vote out for the Premier League teams whether they wanted to.
If they did, I missed it.
And I think David Ornstein said they all voted for it not to be allowed. So
Abhinav says we don't do squad planning in advance as other clubs do. We start doing it in June. That's the issue. We miss out on free signings like Camara and Tillman. Yeah, like there was all sorts of like we did a video I think, didn't we, about all the free transfers that was available in the summer. You could like legitimately like you could have done some mad video game scenario where you fucking transport a 21st Premier League team and with all of those free transfers get a team into like top 12 easily, I would imagine, with all of the free transfers that was going on. Like, has Jesse Lingard got a fucking club yet?
I don't think so.
Like,
he was asking for some big dollars in Saudi Arabia. I don't think he was getting it. That's after having a 1-year contract at Forest on like 200k, more than nearly everyone else at the club. I couldn't believe that.
I mean, there's been a couple of poor decisions there, I think, haven't there? So, I think he was on a good thing at West Ham. He looked great at West Ham.
Yeah,
he could have gone back there.
Okay, they voted against. They didn't. The vote, it wasn't passed. The rule got voted against.
Oh, right.
Jeez, dodgy. And on the West Ham recruitment bit, someone did tweet this, and I think it's true. The likes of Villa, West Ham, they have this thing now with the past couple of seasons, where they look who United, Arsenal, and City have been linked to in the transfer window and don't get. And then they go in and sign them.
Yeah.
And it's actually worked as a bit of a good strategy for them. Like Paqueta and Kudus, Villa with the likes of Boubacar Kamara, Leon Bailey, Moussa Diaby. Buying these players that just about couldn't get the moves to big clubs that were interested in them. They've souped in and signed, and it's worked out well for them. It's an interesting... It seems a bit like a simplistic transfer strategy, but it does work out.
Molman says we need to go and get De Jong. He's Eriksen with legs and dribbling ability. Barca have to sell again. They're goosed. What's going on at Barca? It's almost criminal the way it's going on at Barca.
They're arse now as well.
And they're still
begging for the Super League.
Absolutely puckering up for the Super League, aren't they? Just like fucking...
Tooting it in the air.
They just want it, don't they? Like bad. Because they're like... But they strike me as the sort that would just fucking keep spending if they got the uplift in the value that they would get from Super League. They would be like, all right, cool, now we can spend $2 billion a year. What? No, how about pay some of your debts? Fuck that noise. Like, just fucking keep doing it. They're crazy, man.
Did he still owe players' wages and that?
I don't know. I probably.
I can't believe that, you know.
They owed, well, was it last summer they owed De Jong 17 million? No wonder he didn't come. Because I guarantee when you no longer play for Barcelona, that check's never fucking coming, mate. Not a prayer.
Not even if he... Because Barcelona, as broke as they might be, still, if you take it to court, I feel like they can afford decent lawyers. They
can afford decent lawyers, but also you can drag stuff out. Here's the thing, like I say it all the time, people assume like release fees and stuff like that because it's in a contract are legally binding.
Yeah.
They are, but they're not. Who enforces them?
They don't have time.
Who enforces them?
They don't have ultimatums. So basically, they could drag out this, we'll pay 17 million. They could drag it over 2-3 years.
Or longer, maybe.
Or longer.
Like, I don't know what the terms of his deferral was. But like, let's say a release fee. Let's say, as an example, look at the Luis Suarez one. He had a deal at Liverpool which said if anyone offers more than 40 million, you can go. Arsenal offered 40 million and a pound. They went, they're taking a piss. No. Well, if it was automatic, he should have moved, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't. So they're not automatic. So whether something's legal, enforcing it is totally different. So what they did was illegal, but no one ever decided to take it to court to force it through. Luis Suarez or Arsenal could have taken that to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and they would have won. But would they have won in time for him to get the move in the transfer window? Probably not.
To just move on.
Which means that they've now got to go through litigation for a player. Liverpool might put this fucking idiot on ice for 6 months, and he might be shit by the time we've trying to pay 40 million and a pound for him come the January transfer window. Like, it's a right mess. Or they could force it through where, maybe it got put through in like October or November, so he actually goes and starts training with Arsenal, but you can't register him until January.
Yeah, there's another way around release clauses. You can, if another team's activated release clause when he plays, you can renegotiate the contract with the player. Yep. Offer him more money, take the release clause out, and that's it. So there's definitely loopholes.
Well, Ash mentioned it on our podcast a little bit ago, didn't he? It wasn't the fact that it was there wasn't any release clauses or anything like that, but he said there's an offer come in, we're going to accept it, and he went, all right, cool. And then he said how much? I think he said 8 mil. And then he went and told, I think it was when he was moving to Everton, and he went and told Everton, and he goes, Everton bid 8 mil, and they rejected it. And he said, I'll change my mind, I want 20 mil for you. So Ash went, okay, or his agent went, okay. But if this deal doesn't go through, we're going to renegotiate a contract. And he went, why? And he went, well, he's now a £20 million player.
So pay him like one.
So you're going to have to pay him like one.
So he sold him.
I think they did the deal at 20 mil though, or was it 18 or something, whatever it was, they did a deal at least anyway.
I think he still said he preferred playing for Swansea though, innit? In terms of the football that he played. That's because we talked about earlier about different teams, whether they're better or not, just whether it suits you. But I still remember about him kicking off in that Lyon game, and I thought that was hilarious even before I met him. But I think we actually haven't spoken about the actual title of the video, and it just dawned on me, and this is typical XG fashion. But it's got you on the thumbnail pointing at where you think United will finish. Or is that where you think United will finish?
Well, it says third there, doesn't it? I don't know. I think you're looking at... I always felt after the first few weeks of the season, now Liverpool are in the mix this year. I think that they're dysfunctional. Maybe not as dysfunctional as we've been. I don't think they look anywhere near like the team that won the title, the Liverpool team that won the title. I think they're miles off that.
I think there's too much variance in their games. I look at Liverpool and think Endo's been alright, but they need more of a pillar, number 6 in that position. And I think they've got too many attacking players that aren't in form. Yeah. Diaz, Nunes. They've got all these players.
Or they're even not in form, or I actually don't think they're of the same level of quality as Mane and Firmino.
No, they're not. And they've got too many players that are too similar in the midfield as well. They've got, I feel like Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, Shots, I don't know, Dom Kid. I can never ever say his surname. Salobzai. That's probably even incorrect. Yeah. Salobzai.
We all know who we mean.
Yeah, Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, Harvey Elliott. They're all similar players. And then you've got a 6 who's trying to anchor the whole space like Fabinho did. Endo, 30-year-old that he bought 15 mil. I think they're lacking. I think they get in a way with having Salah, Trent, like Van Dijk playing at like exceptionally high levels. Because that's the thing with Liverpool is team-wise, balance-wise, they're probably not as good as an Arsenal or a City, but they have all-timers in the team. Like Alisson, Van Dijk, Trent probably is one, you'll disagree. And Salah, and they can just win games at any moment against anyone, and I think that's what they've been doing all season.
Yeah, but I felt like I still feel like they're closer to a title run than Arsenal. I think they'll finish above Arsenal.
I think if they finish above Arsenal, they win, because I don't think Arsenal finish. I think second's the lowest.
No, I think
they look
City,
stronger.
I think City will either sign someone that galvanises them in January, or they'll just get it right again.
Or just De Bruyne returns.
They'll pull a player that you forgot they had, that's been on ice for 2 years, and they go, oh shit, yeah, they still had him, and he'll just be mint. Like, I don't know who that is.
I think it's the KDB return.
Could be that.
It depends. He's 32 now. Depends.
They could just win 20 games. Like, they could easily just win 20 games.
I don't know if that happens anymore. I think the quality level in the Premier League's gone up so much where you're going to start seeing 82 points winning titles.
Yeah, I think you will.
Because even we're seeing it, Luton have come up and been difficult. The quality level of the teams lower down have gotten better, and the quality level at the top's probably stagnated a little bit. So just naturally, it's come closer.
Either way, the top three, and you can probably roll them around in whatever order you want, is Liverpool, City, and Arsenal. I think we agree on that, right? Which means
hopefully Villa or Spurs, because Spurs are actually still there or thereabouts, even with their injuries.
Spurs are in the mix. Villa are in the mix, and then we're currently sitting in 6th, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's them three then now, because unless City win it or Arsenal win it, because of us and Newcastle shitting the bed in the group stage, now 5th does not get Champions League. So unless someone wins it and actually gives our coefficient a bit of a boost, maybe a City-Liverpool final, do you imagine? How about a game I'm definitely not watching? How about that? How about I'm gonna?
Nah, I don't think I'd watch City Liverpool Champions League final.
I would say, throw that one up in the mix. I think you're looking at trying to get 4th, and I would say, Villa are 11 points ahead of us.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fucking points.
It's a lot of points. I don't know if we close that gap.
I think we can get over Spurs.
It's halfway. We're at the halfway point now.
We're at the halfway point. I think Villa might pip us to 4th. I think we can come 5th. What are you?
But then that means you think Tottenham finish 6th?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Tottenham have. I don't think they fell off the way that I expected, and they've still churned out performances, and they've gone into a little bit of a good form, even without Maddison and Van der Ven in the last few games as well. And they're actually shithousing a couple of results as well, because I think Everton should have beat them actually, but. I think when they get Maddison, Van der Ven back, with this new synergy they've got and this kind of hipster system that Ange plays, and they get like a Tadibo or someone like that in January that they're linked to, I think they could be a problem in the second half of the season.
I think us getting Martinez back, we could be a problem.
Yeah.
But I still think we lack a little bit in goals. So maybe we have to bring some goals in. It's going to be an interesting January either way for us. But you lot let us know in the comments, where do you think we'll go? Rahul says Stephen was predicting United will come 2nd this season, Arsenal 8th. Such a clown. 1, why are you taking that shit serious? Right? It's a laugh. And 2, I also didn't anticipate United having like 20 fucking players out injured. So one of them, innit?
Rahul, someone says
Arsenal fans tag me in it. Anytime United lose or Liverpool Arsenal win, Arsenal fans, they are so triggered by that video we did on the fan channel.
I've seen the amount of times I've seen that screenshotted and posted by Arsenal fans on Twitter.
Such an insecure little fan base. Why do you give a fuck what? Like, honestly, I couldn't give a fuck what opposition fans think about what United are doing. I don't care.
Proper weirdos Arsenal fans on Twitter, man. They're actually by far the worst. They're the worst fan base on Twitter by a country mile. That's
it. I said it last year. Like, Joel acting like a fucking clown about Arsenal. You've got people supporting the evil empire to win stuff over Arsenal. That's how much you lot are fucking knobs. Because everyone should have been looking at what Arsenal have done and going, yeah, let's get behind that. But because your fan bases are such fucking choppers, everyone would prefer to see the cheating fucking lot win it.
They'll be unbearable. You just want it, like, if it's down to Arsenal fans, 6 or 7 of their players are world class. They scored that deflected goal against City and beat them there. So all of a sudden, they're better than City now, and they have the psychological edge. Bearing in mind that the previous 12 games in the league, they lost all of them to City, or some crazy run like that. And They drew against they've got a shit record at Anfield as well. And they drew the other day where they could have easily got beat. And they were saying, we're not scared of Anfield anymore. And also, have you seen Declan Rice getting praise for that Trent miss?
No.
Saying that he they've been putting screenshots of him and say him because it was almost like a 5v1 against him. And then Salah's picked out Trent and then he's bobbled up and he's hit the bar when he probably should have scored. And somehow Arsenal fans have twisted that into Rice prop, saying he intimidated. Have people not seen that? He literally did nothing but delayed. The ball got to Trent in a high XG scoring area. He should have just slotted in the corner, but he's hoofed it against the bar. And they've actually used that as good as Declan Rice has been. I would admit they take it too far sometimes. They're also saying he's the best. He's one of the best CDMs of all time and shit. But they generally mean it, saying he's generational.
Oh, they absolutely mean it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Make sure you go and check out Manscaped if you've never heard of it. I don't know where the fuck you've been. This is your first day on the internet. Why are you watching us? There's all sorts of other shit you can go and do on the internet. Otherwise, take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.